It didn't work, did it?
It did work, I think.
It did? I don't know. It looks the same to me.
Well, my
Oh,
tr
there we go. No, we're
oh,
here. We're here. Yay!
my transitions aren't working. What the
Yeah.
hell? What the
Hey, Nerdy
hell?
Will. We have transitioned.
We
Okay,
have
we're
transitioned, I guess.
we're
Hello,
here.
everyone. Welcome to Waking Up. There's Sean. Look, he rebuilt all of his
My stuff is here. Yes, I have. I've been doing some rebuilding, some remodeling within
uh-huh.
the Lego space.
hmm
I have more stuff up.
Live trauma. Yeah, live trauma.
Yeah.
Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to Waking Up. This is my co-host Sean. I am Anna. I guess I
So
should say that. Hello, everyone. Um, and this is our podcast about mental health, trauma healing, religious trauma, and all things in between. Again, this show sort of morphed. We originally started this as a, religious trauma podcast, and 4 or 5 years, like 5 years later, here we
it's
are.
been. Wow. Can you believe? When we started this, you had any idea that we were going to do this like for 4 or 5 years? Like this would be
No,
so good. Wow.
did you really think that we would be where we are right now, like 5 years
That's
ago?
that's a good point. Yeah. No, not at all.
No,
I think no.
no,
I think back to that and went, wow.
because
Not a
we
clue.
were sitting in trauma.
We were sitting deep in the trauma.
Deep in the trauma.
Deep.
This is us in our healing era.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
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 Dealing with the trauma.
Dealing with our trauma. Okay. So let us go through our disclaimer and then we'll get started because this one's a good
Mhm.
one. This is one that I
This is a
have
good one.
I don't know, it's a back and forth. I've been back and forth on this one actually. I've been working on this a little bit in therapy. I don't know about you, Sean, but I know that this is something that everyone has experienced at some point in
Yeah.
our life. So here we are. So here on
Mhm.
Waking Up, we're not here to bash anyone's faith or religion. We think faith and religion are beautiful things when done in a mentally and emotionally healthy manner. Um, we are not healthcare professionals. We are not therapists, counselors, life coaches, none of that shit. We don't have
None of
any
it.
type of anything said on here is editorial, learner entertainment purposes only. It is our own personal opinion, our own personal experiences, nothing that we say. We do try to do some research. At least I do. Sean just is along for the ride, I think, for
I'm just
sometimes.
here. Yeah.
We do a lot of work. We've done a lot of work, and this is just our personal opinion. However, if you do need professional help, if you do want to get in touch with a real mental health care professional, we do have information that will help you get in touch with the right mental health care professional in your area. Just message us on our Discord, and we will be glad to help you get you that information that you need. And yes, so Sean and I both grew up in the Carolinas in the 90s, early aughts. Prime Billy Graham territory. Literally grew up like 30, 45 minutes from the Billy Graham Library. Yay.
Mm.
Um, we grew up Southern Baptist. And for those of you who don't know, Southern Baptist is the conservative evangelical sect or denomination. Sect is more of a
Sex sounds about
Sect
right.
sounds a
Yeah.
little bit better than a denomination of the Protestant Christian faith. And just when we think that they couldn't get any worse, the Southern
There's
Baptist Convention proves us wrong. They say,
whole
hold my
communion grape
communion grape
juice.
juice.
Not wine. No, 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 no.
No
Grape
wine,
grape
no
juice.
wine, but hold my
Yes. And
communion grape
cracker.
juice. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. So taking
Yeah.
massive steps backwards.
Hello,
But
Nerdy
yeah.
Will. I
Yeah.
haven't talked to you in a hot minute. I
I
hope you're
know.
doing well.
Yeah. How's it going, Nerdy Will?
Yay! Okay. So, for those of you who don't know the title or haven't seen the title, my YouTube channel says 3 parts in a Jagged RPG live. Hold on a second. I can't.
Fix
That's
it.
gonna bother me. That is gonna bother me.
Yeah. Yeah. You're gonna want to fix that. So while you're fixing
Yeah.
that, you want me to just go ahead and
Yes. Yes.
okay. So sometimes the villain in someone else's story is just the main character who stopped defending themselves. So today we're talking about when silence is peace and when it's just fear wearing peace clothes. We're talking about silence isn't a confession. Uh,
This is one that has been so back and forth with me and like
mhm.
has been Because here's the thing.
Mhm.
It's so hard. It is so hard when you're in a place where you can't tell whether staying silent is you're either staying silent because you are afraid of the consequences and it's your safety.
Mhm.
You're staying silent because you don't want to admit guilt because you know that like whatever say is like, "Oh, okay, so we're just gonna say we're not gonna," or you're staying silent because you are healing and you don't feel the need to defend yourself. 3 totally different things, but
They
from the outside,
Mhm. They
all
look
of
the
the same.
same.
They look all the
Yeah.
motherfucking same.
Distinguishing which is which is one probably one of the hardest things I've had to do. Um,
Oh, what Nerdy Will says the Southern Baptist thing meeting you
n
mentioned, was that from One for You or is oh,
no.
brand new.
No, brand new. So,
Welcome.
yeah,
Go ahead,
yeah,
Sean.
real quick, nerdy will. So, couple years ago, it was the start of it. They started expelling churches, like the big one in California that had women in pastoral positions. But it was not. It was because they went against the guidelines. So they've taken it a step further. They voted overwhelmingly to put it as to make it a policy that
In
women
writing.
cannot be, yeah, cannot
It
be
used to be
in
just sort of
pastoral.
like
It was a guideline,
guideline. It was never really official.
official. They voted
Yeah.
this year and it passed overwhelmingly to approve women being not being in pastoral positions. Now that doesn't make it official official. It makes it they have to apparently they have to pass it for 2 years. So this is the first year. If they pass it again next year, it becomes an official part of their rules, their bylaws. Yeah, and we're not talking women as head pastors. We're talking like women can pretty much be Sunday school teachers, and that's about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Sunday school teachers of anyone except for men, they can't. Yeah, it's so messed
It
up.
means that Southern Baptists are overwhelming or oh, yeah. That's actually one of my biggest traumas, which is
Yeah.
like one of the things that honestly reinforced a lot of the black sheep narcissistic like head training, like
Hmm.
mental because it was and a lot especially in my romantic relationships all the way through even my marriage. It was one of those I'm a woman, so I had to be less than. I
Hmm.
couldn't be smarter, I couldn't be more talented, I couldn't be good looking because good, if I were really good looking, if I were really exceptionally attractive or if there I was outgoing or outspoken or any of these things, I was the reason that things went bad.
Hmm.
That's
Oh
why
yeah.
a lot of my essays, like a lot of the things that I went through was like I just went, well, maybe that's my fault. Maybe I didn't fight hard enough. Maybe I didn't say anything. Maybe I was the reason. Like, and that's a lot of where the religious trauma comes in for me. And a lot of times when, especially when Sean and I have very religious trauma based episodes, where a lot of times his experiences are completely different than mine
Hmm.
because he was a white true blood American male, like in the
Yeah.
church and the golden child and could do no wrong. Whereas and I was an incredibly intelligent woman who, just who was good looking and talented and all of these
It
things.
spoke your mind.
And I had no problem speaking my mind. And that is where a lot of the things to keep me small and came from.
Hmm.
And where a lot of people took advantage of that.
Yeah. Religion is very big about silence.
Yes.
That is
Hi, Kalina.
that is one of their tools,
Mhm,
and that's often where we learn it from. Kind of jumping ahead here that plays a big part,
mhm.
our religious upbringing. So,
Yes.
hey, Kavina.
So when we say we didn't think that they could get much worse, they
Whew.
literally do. Every day,
Yeah.
every conference, everything they do, they literally get worse. They get more constrictive
Mhm.
and
Yeah. So we could do an entire episode at least on this kind on the stuff. So, but
I think we've done a couple in the past, but
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. If you're there's there's some people that I follow, some scholars that I follow that dive into some of that stuff and
Mhm,
why the church believes what they do.
mhm.
So if you're interested, message me just Discord, and I'll kind of share some of that with you because I don't want to take up the time necessarily here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can send you some of the resources that show they're so far off.
Yeah.
But anyway, all right. So silence.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, okay, so and that's also this is one of those things that did get reinforced a fuck ton in
Hmm.
our religious trauma. Don't say anything. It's where a lot of abuse happens. It's where a lot of the control and coerciveness happen
Hmm.
is learning how to stay silent, and especially when things, okay, the cognitive dissonance is fucking real.
Hmm. Oh yeah.
So,
That's
yeah.
Dirty Will says, I staying silent because of fear of being vulnerable too. Yeah, that's a big part of one of the first one, I
Yeah, I
think.
think staying things that is because we have silence because you are afraid, fear.
Which I think that one falls into the vulnerable. You're
Yeah.
afraid to be vulnerable.
Yes, the fear.
Hmm.
Then you have silence of being guilty or guilt. And then you have the
Hmm.
silence of, they called it sovereignty, but the silence of security. I like saying being secure.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't like sovereignty. Sovereignty is like weird. It's a weird name.
It's a weird word choice here,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. I think the silence of security is a much
Yeah,
better.
being secure. And
Yeah.
so okay. So silence of fear is you know that speaking up and telling the truth
Hmm.
would help you, would is standing up for yourself. You know what the truth is. However, you don't say anything because you fear the fallout, whatever that looks like. You fear them
Yeah,
getting
comes in a lot of
angry.
different ways.
Yes,
Hmm.
you fear losing face, you fear losing popularity, you fear
Losing friends, losing
friends,
people around you.
relationships, like
Yeah.
any of that stuff. You fear those things.
Hmm. Yeah, that's a big one. Yeah.
How often did you say silent because you were, especially when you were in a new relationship,
Mhm.
because you, one, didn't want to come off like that person's ex,
Mhm. Mhm.
because they are all the time talking shit about how they never supported him or her, and they never. So when something came up and you're like questioning it, but the relationship is still new, you're just like,
Oh, I don't wanna be they went off about this one person, their ex, and I don't wanna be that. I don't wanna come across as that ex. Uh, I shouldn't do that. Yeah, I'm not gonna say anything. Or they say how they hated something that their ex did, and they're talking about how terrible it was, and like that's awful. And in your head, you're thinking, actually, that was probably you're like
right,
you're not taking their side. You're like, what their ex did is actually pretty understandable. I would have done that too, but you're like, mm-mm, because it's a new relationship.
right.
You don't want to rock the boat. You don't want to come off as that
Or
ex.
you're in the relationship and
Yeah.
you're afraid of saying something because you're afraid of having it turned around on you. Like, because that
Yes.
happens
Yes,
and
it does.
happened to me a lot. And
Hmm.
not just romantically, because that happened romantically a lot.
Yeah.
But at the same time, also like with your parents and all these things, because especially with when you're in your family and your parents, you couldn't say anything.
Hmm.
You're like,
Yeah.
they would start running their mouths and they'd be like, I don't want to tell them that I don't like doing this X activity because I don't want them to not love me, or I don't want them to get mad at me. I don't want to whatever to your parents. And
Yeah.
they're just like, well, it doesn't matter. You're just a kid. Or, I'm the parent and you'll do what I say. That's almost abuse.
That
I'm
is.
sorry. I'm going to call it like it is.
Yeah, because you're gonna do this because I'm your mother, because I'm your parent, I'm your father. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, continuing to participate in an activity that you no longer are interested in and no longer want to do because the parent is gonna make you.
Or going somewhere, going
Going to church.
somewhere, going to church, or you want to do the thing, or they are saying something to you and you're like, that's not true. I don't want that. That is not how it is, and you
Mhm.
feel helpless, so you stay silent.
Yeah, when we were children, we don't have the agency, I think is the right word.
Mhm.
We don't have the agency. We can't just talk openly or say anything, like, because we're everything that we have and do and
Yeah.
are is controlled. Um, the problem is we learn early on what is safe and what is not safe, and that doesn't just go away when we gain agency.
Yeah.
We still feel like that child that didn't have the
Which
agency.
then bleeds into your romantic relationships. It's so fucking great.
Yeah. Yes, so great.
So
10 points of
great.
flaw. So
So
great.
great.
Yeah.
Tell me how you learned how to be conflict avoidant with your conflict when you're conflict heavy
Yeah.
significant other.
So I am so conflict averse. I
What?
still am conflict averse. I know
Okay.
it's amazing.
And you know
Yeah.
what? I'm proud of you for,
I am. Yeah, oh, I am
there you
still very
go.
much conflict averse.
Okay, okay.
But I didn't realize it until a few years ago, like where I think it really stemmed from.
Mhm.
Um, in the way that I respond when I am in an argument or a discussion, when I'm in conflict, right?
Yeah.
Is like and it suddenly hit me that when I was in trouble, when my caregivers, my parents were like, "This, you did this thing or this happened," I was not allowed to speak
Mm-mm.
because speaking was back talk.
Mhm.
There was no
Oh.
Yeah, sorry, that word probably just triggered a whole bunch of people. The back talk. That opening my mouth saying anything was back talk and made it so much worse. Like, so for me, safety was sitting down and shutting up. Safety was just
Mhm.
taking it,
Yes.
just verbally taking
Yes.
it and just getting it over with. I just
Yes.
whatever I could do to get this over with. And
Yeah.
I'm sure I disassociated during those times too, because like sometimes my parents can be long-winded. Imagine that. Um, I know, right? And so that carried over into my relationships. That when I'm in trouble, my goal was just I don't speak.
Yeah.
I shut up and I take it. Whatever it is that they got to say, I just take it and I just hope it's going to end soon.
Yeah.
Because if I say anything, it's just going to get worse. So that has been very difficult to break, and I'm still working on that.
Well, that's also where I learned to especially in my romantic relationships, when I was trying to stand up for myself, where I was trying
Mhm,
to something wasn't right, the cognitive dissonance wasn't right, and
mhm,
I was either trying to explain where I was coming from and I wasn't being heard, and where I just sort of got to the point where I just got so frustrated because they weren't listening, because they were choosing not to listen, because they
mhm,
as I learned that they were choosing not to listen because they didn't
mhm.
want to listen, because being right was more important than than solving the problem. And
Yes.
so over time, I learned to just go, okay, you know what? Okay.
Yeah,
I don't agree. I don't think it's right. I'm getting screwed in this situation. It's not okay. Okay.
yeah. When you knew something was terribly wrong
Yes.
and you didn't have the skills to deal with
Yes.
it properly,
Yes.
so we did what we knew to do, which was, "Okay,
Okay.
just alright,
Sure.
whatever, it's fine."
It's
Yes,
better. It's
I'm the bad guy, yes, I'm the villain, yes,
I'm yeah, I'm the crazy
I
one.
screwed up.
It's my fault. It's whatever.
Yeah.
It's fine.
How I feel is
It's
not
irrelevant because
relevant.
you know what? You're right.
Yeah, this
You're
is
right.
all
I must be crazy
oh,
because you are digging your heels in, and the only way that the conflict is going to end
mhm.
is if I just say, "Okay, fine."
Just accept it.
Yeah.
Take it. Yeah. That was the only modicum of safety that you got was, okay, well, I just want to end this. And the only way
Yeah.
to end this is to accept it.
Yeah.
Whew, yeah.
Oh, we're already hitting off strong. We're good. We're already triggered.
Man,
It's fine. Fine.
we
Fine. Fine.
are, we
Fine.
are,
Fine.
yeah.
So silence
So,
too is the guilt one. Um, it's your let's see, you don't want to self-incriminate. You're just like, maybe if I let it die down,
mhm.
if I don't say anything, if I don't say anything, no
Yeah,
one
if I
can
just
no one can prove anything.
no one will notice.
No one will notice. I can't prove anything. Except here's the other thing is even though you stay silent, it's still lying. Because
Mm-mm,
guess what?
yeah.
People
A
aren't
lot
running their mouths if they don't have the fucking receipts.
yeah.
I think that that's a problem I also have. It's like that's accountability. If it's the lack of accountability. If you stay silent through guilt and you just don't go, "Yes, you're right, XYZ, this is all these things." That's not gonna make it go away. It's literally like the version of, "You can't see me, you can't see me, you can't
Yeah.
prove I'm here, you can't see me." What the fuck, dude?
Yeah. It's like the lying of omission. If I don't, some people still believe that if I just don't say anything, if I or I'm staying silent because I don't want to hurt you. I'm going to stay silent because if I say something, you'll be upset, and that I don't want to make you
I
upset.
know what I'm doing is wrong. I know what I
But
am doing is wrong, but if I
yeah,
don't say anything, if I just keep doing what I'm doing, but I don't say anything,
mm,
then
it's
maybe it'll
fine.
just blow over.
Yeah,
How's that working out for y'all folks?
yeah.
That's not healing.
Mm-mm.
That's not
No,
healing. I'm
that
gonna make
is
that
not at
really, really
all.
clear. I'm gonna make that 100% clear. That is not healing. That's freaking toxic and red flag as
Yeah.
fuck. Because again, that's lacking accountability. As long as I don't say anything, it won't be true. As long as I don't say anything, it's not lying.
The rationalization, the ability to rationalize that silence is pretty strong.
And isn't it the best when somebody is silent and then
Mhm,
something comes up and they're just like, as long as I don't say anything, no one will know. And I can
mhm.
curate this image. And like, especially for like, if I can curate this image and as long as I don't say anything, and then somebody else says something because you can't control what the other person says, and
No.
then you watch that other person like try to backtalk and then they actually end up lying. That's when they actually end up like, "Oh, well, I mean, yeah, I either forgot or I whatever."
Mhm. Oh,
Like,
I was gonna do that. I was gonna say,
well,
yeah.
I mean, it wasn't necessary information.
Oh, yeah. I didn't think it was that
I didn't
important.
think it was that big of a deal.
Really?
Yeah.
No? You didn't?
How many times have you had that used against you to manipulate you?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Like, oh, you that mattered? That was I didn't think that was a big deal. That wasn't like we didn't talk about
Facts,
that.
nerdy
We
will.
didn't yeah.
Facts.
Um yes. Oh god, yes. That is nope, same with me. Couples therapy did not change that in my relationship either. Yeah. There's probably a trend in that. There's probably I think we can so
What?
yeah. I know, right? Yeah. With my ex, it was all of the online all the online stuff that she got deep into and with the
Yeah.
people that she got
Yeah.
deep into it with. And she's like, oh, well, I didn't think that was a big deal. Well, you didn't she's like, oh, well, you didn't tell me that that was a problem. You didn't. I'm like, how was I supposed to tell you? I didn't know what was happening.
That shit pisses me off so fucking
Hmm.
hard. That is not goddamn transparency.
No.
If you can't be 100% honest, if you can't tell somebody and you've got to lie to yourself and say, well, I just
I
won't
mean,
say anything.
yeah.
I'm sorry. And you know what, Sean, though, you and I have both done it. We have both done it.
Yeah. Oh,
Like,
yeah.
so it's like, if I
But
don't
it's still
say anything, but I mean, if it comes up, then I'll say something. But that's not transparency.
mm-mm. No, not at all.
That's emotional manipulation,
Yeah.
period.
Yeah, it's rationalization, emotional manipulation. Because if if we're thinking about it and we're having to make this argument to ourselves, what it means is it really is something the person probably wants to know or needs to know. Because if it wasn't, we wouldn't have to spin ourselves in weird knots
And keep
to,
silent about it.
and keep silent. We would just say the
You're
thing
right.
because it was just information. If it was just
Right.
like flat,
But see, I've been there, you've been there. We've also
yeah,
had
we
it
have.
done to us in multiple
Oh,
ways.
yeah.
Like, so this is not something that is just it's universal. It is universal. Like,
Mhm.
I'm sorry. Like,
Say the thing.
say
Just
the
say,
thing.
yeah.
If you can't say the thing, you know you are doing something wrong. And
Yes.
trust me, I know from experience. I am also know from on being on the other side of it. Like
Mhm.
both you and I both have done it, like have had it in reverse. And
Yeah. Yeah, we're
if
both
you
sides of it.
can't say it, if you can't just openly say it, well, they didn't ask. They didn't ask, so why should I volunteer that? Because you want to, I don't know, because you want to be accountable, because you
Mhm.
want to have a relationship with the other person built on trust and honesty and transparency. Because I don't know, that's a motherfucking healthy
Because yeah.
relationship. And that goes
Mhm.
universal friendship or
Yeah,
friendships and
we
romantic and
use
all of that stuff.
yeah, we use relationship and friendship pretty synonymously,
Yeah.
honestly, because they really do apply.
Yeah.
Sometimes the stakes are higher in a girlfriend, intimate, romantic relationship,
Yeah.
but still, it applies. The trust, the communication, that it doesn't matter whether it's romantic or not.
Yep. And the
So,
silence is
it affects
deafening.
both. It is,
You
yeah.
know what? Here's the silence that ooh, I've done it. I know I've
Mhm,
done it. I know I have had it done to me more times than I can count.
mhm.
It's the when you ask them a direct question and they sit for
A tick.
a tick. Whether it's like a second to 2 or
Yes.
3 seconds, they sit
Yes.
like the dog that got caught chewing on something they shouldn't
Yep.
be or got caught doing
Yep.
something wrong. It's the you ask them a direct question and there's no way or they take a minute because they know they've been caught
Mhm. Mhm. And there's
or they're
this
taking that second to either figure out it
it's
should
a
they be honest or should they spin it. That silence is fucking deafening.
as someone who has done it and who has made and has sometimes made the right choice and unfortunately often made the wrong choice,
Mhm.
there is a split second cost benefit analysis. If I can go bit professional for a moment, a cost
Yes!
benefit analysis. That's really what it is, and it takes like the split second for it to happen in your head.
Yes.
And so it's like, okay, so if I lie, what's the worst? What's gonna happen? Okay, if I tell the truth, what's gonna happen? And like, what's the cost and benefit of whether do I tell like it's amazing the brain can do it in a split second, and then it just comes. Whoo, that's a dangerous place to be. But yeah, I've done that. We've had conversations. I remember having a conversation with you about that
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
Was what I was like. I was like, because my brain is like, there's a part of me that wants to do the lie. Default is lie.
Oh, yeah, especially if you're
Default,
traumatized.
yes. If you're traumatized, yeah, traumatized, conflict
Yes.
averse, like the lie, because the lie will potentially get me out of conflict.
Mhm.
And there's that moment where that part of me is screaming, lie, just lie the heck. Yeah, it's and like it takes a moment trying to heal through that. The moment isn't always necessarily a cost benefit analysis when I'm healing through it.
Mhm.
The moment is that part of me is screaming lie, and I have to take a moment, a second to actively choose no. I
Yeah.
know what you're trying to do. I know why
Yeah.
you're trying to do it. I understand that. I hear you, but I'm not doing that right now.
Yeah.
And it sometimes takes just a moment, but I have to do it. I have to take that moment because if not, the default in me goes lie.
Mhm.
And sometimes it's big stuff. Sometimes it's just stupid stuff.
Yeah.
But that's what being the trauma that I've gone through, the choices that I've made,
Mhm,
the conditioning I've been through,
mhm.
that's what happens in my head.
I will never be in another relationship where I find out weeks, months, years later
Mhm,
that I have been lied to, or,
mhm,
"Well, I just forgot to tell you," or, "I didn't think it was important." I
mhm.
no. No, never again, never
Yeah.
again. I'm like, "I asked you about that."
Yeah. Oh,
"Well, I
yeah.
didn't think it was important," or blah, blah, blah. No, never again.
Yeah.
And I will
Mhm,
never do that again. Because if that person, like, if I can't come to them and go, "Hey, I did this thing," and I am not willing, 1, to lose the relationship because I did
mhm,
something wrong. 2, if I am not willing to own my mistakes, if I am not willing to be a healed, better person and take accountability for my actions, regardless of when they are, if I've got to hide parts of myself, good, bad, or ugly, to somebody else by just staying silent, as long as I stay silent, even though they know, like they have repeatedly said, they will never be with a partner that does X, Y, and Z. They will never be with a partner that
mhm,
does X, Y, Z, whatever. If you've got to curate that by your silence, if I have to curate that through my silence, I
mhm.
don't want it.
Yeah.
And you know what? Everybody's in their own different healing journey, but let me make this abundantly clear. You are not being honest, transparent, and that relationship built is built on dishonesty. And
Mhm.
and is that really a relationship you want to be in?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. And there's a point in life you get to where you're like, I don't have time for this. I don't have
Yes, I
time.
don't have time to play your fucking games. And I
Yeah.
also, ooh, you know, red flag for me now. Red
Mhm.
flag for
You
me.
need you need to bring those. You need to have those
They're
flags right next to
downstairs. The
you.
kids were
You
playing
just
with them yesterday during 4th of July. It's like,
you just need to. Okay.
right.
Anyway.
The big red flag for me, honestly, is if they are running their mouth. And there's no accountability.
Running their mouth about like an ex
Yeah.
or about yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yes.
They never take accountability.
Ooh, yeah.
If they're like, "Oh, she was crazy. She was
Especially if
overly
it's
emotional. She was too needy. She didn't listen to my needs. She didn't do any of this. It's blah 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 blah." And
especially if
you
it's more than one.
right.
It's
And you
2 or 3 or 4
and
exes.
then you ask them, "Well,
Yeah.
what did you do?"
Mhm.
And they either change the subject or don't say anything. Like,
Dismiss it or
yeah.
yeah. It's her fault. If they turn it around and it
I was this
continues
way
to make
because of
it
them.
their
Yeah.
fault. Yeah. Yeah. We almost didn't continue being friends. We almost didn't that was a issue for us
Mhm.
because we talked about when we rebooted and we talked about our all the stuff that went on during this period of time.
Right.
That was that we came to a point where you asked me a direct question.
I called your ass out.
You did. You
I did
called
call
me
your ass
out
out.
and there was a point that we hit a crossroads when you asked me that question. I could lie or I could not take accountability
What?
or I could take accountability. And you already knew the answer. You were just asking me to see if I was going to be hold myself be accountable for it, take responsibility for it. I know, crazy, right? You ask a
No.
question you know the answer to.
Mhm.
What? No.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I had a part in what went wrong in my previous relationships. It's never just one sided. That's at fault. And
Absolutely.
that is the thing. That is the
Yes.
key. That is the thing. If a person comes up and, like, you're having this and all of their exes. And here's the thing is I didn't think it could because I was so in my trauma state that I was just like, oh, but see, that was the thing is that in most of my relationship, I was so traumatized. I wanted to be the person that was not like their exes. So I spent so
Yes.
much of my time, which then again bred into silence, like we were talking about, the silence of fear is like I didn't want to be them because their I wanted to be the thing that was better than their last. I wanted to be the
Yes.
answer. I wanted to be chosen. I wanted to be
You were in your
picked.
pick me stage. Yeah. Yeah.
I was in my anxious attachment. I'm not going to be honest about anything or tell or be disagreeable with them or disagree with them. And
Yeah. So you abandon it's the self-abandonment
yeah.
to become everything that they
And then you shrink.
didn't. Yeah.
And then you
Mhm.
shrink. and then
Yeah.
you shrink. And the silence is so deafening. Whether it's the silence that they give you of silence of their guilt or your
Mhm.
guilt, and the silence of the fear, you shrink.
Mhm.
And the longer it goes on, the longer you stay silent, the longer you just keep quiet to keep the peace, to curate your image, whatever it is,
Mhm.
you
And
shrink.
the more you abandon yourself, the less you recognize yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
And, here's the thing. Oh, so okay, and here's the thing, the silence of guilt, the silence of, like, it's because it's dishonesty. It is
Mhm.
dishonesty. It is not transparency. That silence that you are starting to then live a double life, that
Mhm.
nothing is real. Nothing feels
Mm-mm.
real. And that's like when then and for me, when I started actually doing real trauma work and I started actually healing and started not being afraid that, you know what? I'm human, and I started actually facing all of those things. You didn't realize just how much you carry in the silence,
Mhm.
especially when it's like you don't realize how much you're carrying and how painful it is.
Mhm.
And it's not even just that, and you spend so much of your time in that silence, the other person's at fault. Well, you're choosing to remain silent. You're choosing to be dishonest. You're choosing to be all these things. And when you start becoming accountable and you start actually like, it's hard. Trust me. I'm going to tell you fucking right now. Okay, here's a rant. Here's a rant on.
Mhm. Do tell.
Actually, let's do number 3. Let's talk
Okay.
about secure silence, and then I will go on this rant because it all ties in. Okay.
Gotcha.
All right.
Okay.
So the secure silence. So secure silence is when, especially because we're going back to, when like my parents, my mom does it, like all of like your friends do it, your ex-romantic partners do it, your what coworkers do it. They run their mouth. They do the flying
Mhm.
monkeys. They have to be the victim. They have to be the
Mhm.
hero. They have to be the thing. So they are just like, "Da-da-da-da-da-da-da, he's crazy. He was possessive. He was whatever. He was this. She was too emotional. She had too much trauma. She was just unstable.
Mhm.
She's bitter." Like, oh, and like especially like Sean, you and I
Oh.
is like, they're bitter. They just
Oh,
can't let
yeah.
go.
Yeah.
They're the
They just
reason
couldn't
that
leave me
they
alone. They
couldn't
were
leave me alone. They couldn't let
Mhm.
go. They're unstable. Like,
They were fine when I met them, and then they just became crazy.
why is that? Oh, really? That's interesting, because
And
why does that
huh.
happen with all the rest of your exes?
I know, that's
Crazy.
Do you hear yourself? Yeah.
No, but it's not just like extra romantic. Oh my God. And like, oh, I don't know how many, like, because again, I'm on these dating apps, right? And I'm just like, just even having trying because you're trying to establish these conversations, even in the conversations.
Mhm. You hear it in the
Yeah, you
conversations.
can hear it in the conversations. And
Yeah.
I'm just like, no, you know what? No, no,
No, no,
no,
yeah, we're no,
no.
because because if it's there, you know what it's gonna be like when it goes to the yeah.
Right.
I don't have time for this.
No.
No.
But it's all these things where these people are talking this shit about you all
Mhm.
the time. And it gets back to you. And they are. And it gets back to you. And these people like, and so the secure silence of, you know what? Let them.
Mhm.
Let them. If that other person needs to talk so much shit about me,
Yeah.
one, I'm living rent free in that brain. Okay, way to
That's
go.
true. Yep, yep.
You got to talk shit so much about me and paint me in this way that, like, to make yourself feel better, because that says way more about you than it does me.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah.
And two, let them. Because, and also, if I'm in this place where I know, is it worth the fight? It's not staying silent
That's
for safety, but is it worth the fight? Or is
what
it just I'm going
mhm.
to keep doing what I'm doing? keep living my life, keep being me, keep healing, keep doing these things, stay the course, do what I do. Like, especially like when you're healing from like some massive trauma or whatever, it is silent. If you're healing out loud, if you're healing in this big grandiose way, like, are you doing that because you actually want people to think you're healed, or are you doing that because you want people to applaud you? Like, what is that? Because
Yeah,
really,
you want an
honestly,
audience for your healing?
yes.
Yeah.
Because the
Mhm.
reality is like once you get to this, or for me, okay, I'm gonna scratch it, rewind. Once I've got to a place where it's like, I don't give a fuck. I don't.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stand up for what is right. I'm gonna do what is right. I am going to be transparent. I am going to be honest. I am going, you know what? Gonna come with receipts. Like, I have the receipts, but do I need to publish the receipts? No.
Do you need to lay them out in a to convince other
Yes.
people? It's do I need do I need to defend myself?
Yeah.
Because for the longest time, I have had an intense need to defend myself
But
to everyone about everything because if I just say enough words, if I just can convince them, if I can just defend myself strongly enough, then I can get my point across and it'll fix everything. If I can just defend myself, they'll believe me.
mhm.
Um, that played out positive in my favor about a grand total of I think 0 times. So
Well, yes, in fact, and here's the thing though, is that you and I both come at it, it's the same, again, same coin, different side.
yeah,
Right? Like
yep,
you were the golden child. So you had to come with receipts. You had to defend yourself because if you were wrong, if you
yep.
were bad, if you were caught doing something wrong, that
I'm not
hit your golden child.
perfect.
I'm
Yeah,
not perfect. That means I'm less than. That
I'm not
means
lovable.
I'm not
Yeah,
lovable. That means I'm not worth it. Blah, blah, blah. All
yep.
that golden child trauma that, again, I don't understand. Well, I'm starting to understand because I'm learning a lot.
Yeah.
But for me, as the black sheep, parentified older daughter, like I had to defend myself because I was always wrong. And
Mhm.
I was like, I am not wrong. I
Yeah.
know I'm not wrong. I know, which is how like a lot of the narcissists in my life were able to manipulate me because a lot of times they were golden children. A lot of times they could do no wrong. A lot of times
Mhm.
so it was always I wanted to stand up for myself. I wanted to defend myself because I know I'm not getting fucking screwed because everybody thinks, oh, was easy and quick to believe that
Mhm.
I was at fault because I was the black sheep, and it's been that way since I was a kid. I got in trouble, like, for example, as something that it's just as a younger child. Now, I love my sister. Let me tell you, I'm saying this again. I love
Mhm.
her. We are in a great place. We are in a good relationship. It has taken a lot of time and a lot of therapy to get there for me. But due to the upbringing and having a narcissistic parent, it was very much pitted. And this is how golden child, black sheep develop is you get pitted against each other and your siblings.
Mhm.
So my sister would get mad at me, and I've told this before, would bite herself so hard, leave
Mhm.
teeth impression, and then I would get punished, usually corporal punishment. I would
Mhm.
get punished, and I would have no idea. Like, it's just all of a sudden, my name was getting called, and I was getting the wooden spoon or something and yelled at, and I'm like, I had no idea what was going on. And it wasn't until they caught on and I started losing, as a kid, I started losing my teeth that the dental
Mhm.
impressions didn't work out.
They finally did the forensic analysis.
And
It
then
took that.
right. And then my
Mhm.
sister cut her own hair, also cut the Barbie's hair one time. I remember, and she hid it under the couch. And I remember she said that I did it and getting lit up one side and down the other and almost got, punished again. And it
Mhm.
wasn't until she confessed. It was like, "Oh." So, like, I was raised that it was quick, that it was always my fault.
Mhm.
And so now, like, in this time as my healing, it's like, "Oh, these people are just talking this mess and all this stuff," and it's like, that is just my go-to, is to defend myself.
Mhm.
to
Yeah.
have the evidence.
To bring enough receipts.
Yes. Even though it
Yeah.
never mattered.
It
It
there
never,
was
never
never
mattered.
enough receipts.
Never enough. Never enough receipts.
Yeah.
But this is that silence where you finally get to that point where you're just like, "It still fucking hurts."
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Nobody we don't like when that happens,
No.
but we're learning through healing that we don't we don't have to we don't have to defend ourselves to everyone.
Yeah.
We can have that conversation in our head and get to the point where we're going like, okay,
Yeah.
so they're gonna do what they're gonna do. I know who I am,
Mhm.
and I don't have to defend myself. It's hard to it's hard to get there. It's hard, and it's not like you're there and you're done. It's every single time. Like it's a repeated for me. It's repetitive. Like I I can get there and go, okay, I'm good, but that doesn't mean that there's not another situation that's going to come in that I'm going to have to
Yeah.
go right back to it. So
Right.
it's a repeated, just like conditioning to feel the need to defend
Yes.
myself the same way. Um,
And it all looks the same on the outside.
it does. Yeah. And some people don't understand why you're not. That's one of the things is sometimes it's not just you going, do I need to defend myself? It's other people going, why aren't you defending yourself? You need to defend yourself.
If
And
you
there's
weren't guilty.
yeah. Oh yes. Yeah, and not everybody that comes to you that's in this part of this conversation comes to you in good faith either. Whether they mean to or not. Some people want that back and forth
Yeah.
because that's feeding them and
Yep.
what they haven't dealt with or whatever, wherever they're at.
Darvo, which we're gonna
Yes.
get
Exactly.
to.
So,
But the big thing is like, and it was a good question. How do I know if the silence is trauma based? My silence is trauma
mhm,
based, or my silence is healing based. And the diagnostic question is: am I not saying anything because I trust myself and who I am, or is it because I'm afraid of what happens if I open my mouth?
mhm. Yes.
Is it, you know? Am I gonna like, is it worth saying something?
Eh,
Am I not standing up for myself because I'm afraid of all these things? Or am
yeah.
I not saying something because, like, it's just, it doesn't matter because you're not going to believe me anyway?
It's the intention behind it.
Yeah.
And like for me, what not saying anything, it's a lot of times it's in the body
Oh,
where I get
fuck.
it right.
Yes. Yeah.
The silence because I'm afraid, like that often carries with it an intense amount of anxiety. Even
Yes.
if I'm like, you know what, I'm just not going to say anything. The anxiety is still there. My
Mhm.
brain is still flipping back and forth between whether or not I should or shouldn't say anything. Because part of me is
What?
going, you really should say something. You should say something. So there's the anxiety of
That
that.
urge is so fucking
Yeah.
strong.
So the anxiety is the back and forth
Yeah.
of those parts of me continuing to fight,
Right.
continuing to disagree.
Right.
Whereas when I get to the point where I'm like, I have no need to. I have no
Right.
reason to say
Papa
anything.
Ruge's coming with the truth right
Papa
there. If
Roo,
I open my
open
mouth,
my mouth.
certain people will shove it right back at me.
Hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. One question that I've learned is, what do I hope to accomplish?
That's a good
And
one.
my therapist, that's one thing my therapist is like, well, I should say something. Should I? I should do this. I
Yes.
should, I, oh, but if what happens if I don't defend myself? I'm like, what are you trying to accomplish?
That.
Are you trying to make yourself feel better? Or are you trying to, what are you trying to do?
I'm a little traumatized right now.
what's the goal? Yeah. What's the goal here?
Yes. Yes.
Well, I need them to understand. I need them. They need to believe. They need,
They
if
need to see it.
if
They
the
need to
goal
see
is
the truth.
always the external,
Yes.
what do you do?
They need to see the truth. I need to show them the reality because I am not what they think I am.
I have to prove it to them.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. And like that's out of your control. You have no, and do you honestly believe that they'll
No,
go,
and the
"Oh
answer is
my
always
god."
I know the answer is always no.
No, they didn't believe you. They didn't believe you 9 times. Why do you think they're gonna believe you the 10th?
And if like, honestly, if they were going to believe you, they would come to you and talk to you like a healed, mature adult, but otherwise, they're just gonna run their mouth and
Yeah,
take your silence as what it is, and it's
yeah.
so gosh, ah,
That the intense need to defend ourselves. It's so very strong.
yes. Oh.
Yeah. Good stuff. Good times. Good times. Mhm.
But okay, so all right,
Okay. Yeah. Well,
here's my little hydrate.
Kevin,
I actually have water today.
I do too, but it's also mixed with
Well, I
coffee,
also have it
dirty
mixed
coffee
in
oil.
coffee and energy drink, but I actually have water today, so congratulations, I'm hydrating.
Woohoo!
Okay, so my mini rant, or I don't know if this is going to be a rant because I feel like this rant's going to be, but I have and done and have experienced and done all three types of silence. Whereas I've been silent because I've been afraid. I've been silent because I was guilty, and I've also, and luckily now I'm actually just silent because what is it going to, what, like you said, what is it going to accomplish?
Mhm.
Nothing. It's not gonna change their mind. They're gonna think about what they're gonna think, and I have come to that
Mhm.
healing place in myself where it's just like, "You know what? You know what? If they aren't asking me the question, because the urge for me is to just go, no, they need this, they need to know the truth, and no, they need all of these things. And if they're not going to ask the question, that means they don't want the answer. They don't want the truth. They are perfectly, and again, I've been there too. If I'm not going to ask the question of what is the truth, if I am not actually coming from a place of I want to know the truth, whether it hurts me or not,
Mhm.
and they're not coming to me or discussing with me going, hey, you know what, I know that there's one side two, and the truth is somewhere in the middle. I really want to hear what you have to say. If they're not asking, they don't want to know, and they don't really care. And honestly, I don't have the time or the energy to try to force somebody to actually see my truth.
Mhm.
If you want to believe whatever it is you want to believe, I'm just going to sit in that silence. And so many people sit in that silence of, I'm not going to respond. I'm just going to let it sit. And so many people like, see, she's guilty.
Yeah, if she
See,
was innocent, she'd defend herself.
yeah, she would defend herself. Yeah, see, Mark's
Yeah.
fair,
I mean,
fair. But yeah, see, if she wasn't guilty, she would defend
Mhm.
herself.
Mhm.
Or see, and it all looks the same.
Yeah.
And the thing is like I was also in a place before all of my healing, before all of these things, the silence kept me safe. And the silence in my anxious anxiety or my anxious attachment and in the anxiety of being alone and the anxiety of these things and the I was wondering and I kept myself wondering for years and years and decades. Why was I continuing to put myself in situations? And I was continuing to find myself in situations where I was constantly being lied to and gaslit and all
Mhm.
of these things. I was like, why? Because I was refusing to say something
Mhm.
because I was more concerned about making sure this person stayed in my life than actually being transparent and honest. And so the silence was what
Mm.
kept that person in my life,
Kept the peace.
kept the peace.
Yeah. Well, which is funny. That's because that's an oxymoron. Again, maybe that's right. Because we call it keeping. Well, I was just trying to keep the peace, but you're not really keeping the peace because you know who isn't peace at that in that us. There was no peace on this end. The only keeping the peace was on their end because they benefited from us from sitting down and shutting up.
Yep.
So there was no peace. It was we were just lying to ourselves because you know that's what we did. That's what I did. Yeah.
And you know what? I feel like the less silent I've become, the more secure in myself that I've become,
Hmm.
the smaller my social circle has gotten and not Not because it's one of those, because I'm just, getting rid of you, getting rid of you, getting rid of you, getting rid of
Yeah.
you. But it's because I realize that there's so many people in my life. Like, I kept myself silent so that I could curate a narrative. And so
Mhm.
when I started being more secure in myself and decided, no, you know what? I'm going to be transparent. I'm going to be honest with myself and I'm going to be honest with the people that I care about. And they were just like, you're not the person I thought you were. You're not all these things. Then you
Mhm.
know what? Okay, I can accept that.
Yeah.
And now I'm going, if you can't accept this truth, if we can't have a conversation that's based in honesty, that doesn't paint me in a great light, that doesn't paint you in a great light, but we're going to able to talk about it and be honest and not sit in silence about it, then I don't want it because it's just dishonest. Now, are
Yeah.
we saying silence is bad? No, because I am enjoying, oh my God. Can I tell you how much this healing journey has brought me into the fact that I am enjoying silence?
Oh, yeah. Mhm.
Where I'm enjoying just existing in somebody's space. The desire and the need to entertain and be entertaining and be attractive and be what the fuck ever. Like the fact that I have so now surrounded myself with people where the silence isn't a weapon.
Oh, wow. Yes.
How often have we had silence used as a weapon against us?
Yeah.
And then if they were silent for any period of time, whether it be via text or phone call or proximity or just even in each other's presence, how anxious we felt and how it was just like up in our throats and the fear.
Yes. Oh, yeah. That yes. We. I have not had a very good relationship with silence for the majority of my life.
Yes, right?
It's only now that I'm starting to get a better relationship with silence, as opposed to seeing silence as the enemy and silence as the worst case, silence as something's wrong, something's bad. They don't like me anymore. They don't want to talk to like. Oh, yeah. Uh, Finally getting to the point where I'm like appreciating
Yeah.
silence and respecting silence.
Yes.
Yeah. Instead of judging, being less judgy about the silence. I'm like, oh, there's silence. That's an observation.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And respecting it, moving on.
Yes.
Oh, that's taken a long time. And I'm still not 100% there. I'm still,
Facts.
because it still happens. It still's like, wait.
Yeah. But I think for me, when because that was a huge thing in my anxious attachment, that was a huge thing of my abandonment
Mhm.
issues because the silence was weaponized so often for
Yeah.
so long in my life that now if somebody goes silent, if somebody
Hmm.
like, they get busy, life gets busy. They have, maybe they are spending time with their kids or maybe, I'm busy or there's like work going on or something, whatever.
Hmm.
I'll ask a clarifying question. Hey, I've noticed
Hmm.
I have noticed that I've noticed that there's been some drop off in communication. Is this something that I have done that you are being silent, or is this just you being life?
Yeah. This is life lifing.
Is life lifing?
Yeah.
And if they say life's lifing, or hey, I got the kids this weekend, and because I would hope that like somebody that is like texting me or talking to me or
Hmm.
like wanting to get to know me and I drop off because I do it too. I drop off the
Hmm.
Facebook because my kids are the most important thing ever. And I am not putting anybody in between me and my
Yeah.
kids. So hey, like I hadn't heard from you in a couple days. Yeah, sorry, I had my kids. And if they can't go, oh well, I was just thinking blah blah blah. And they're like, oh no, kids are important. Yes, like that I am enjoying the fact
Hmm.
that fear because that's going to tell me all I need to know.
Yes, that simple exchange.
Yes.
There's a big difference between, "Hey, I've noticed it's been a couple days. I've noticed that you've been silent.
Right.
Something, hey, what?" There's just between that and why aren't you talking to me?
Yeah.
Why aren't you texting me? Why are you being so quiet?
Listen, listen, listen. I don't need you exposing our text exchange, Sean. I mean, I know
Well,
you're wanting to be honest with our if you knew how many times Sean did that to me.
I'm better at that now.
You are
That's
better at that.
I
You are
used to
better
do
at that.
I used to do that a lot. Yes.
Bad.
Oh yeah.
Like,
I'm not gonna lie. That was my insecure, my anxious attachment with friends and like, oh yeah, that was bad. I was very bad.
yeah,
So like, yeah, that's definitely something that I've had to work on.
yeah,
Is the accepting that life is just lifing and it
yeah,
doesn't mean something. It's not judging those moments, that silence.
right.
It's accepting it for what it is.
Yeah.
It's just silence instead of attaching a meaning behind it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, mhm,
But I mean, that's just, yeah, as they should be in our yes, as my kids should be.
mhm.
And you know what? I love my children more than life itself. And
Your kids
they,
are amazing.
they are freaking amazing humans.
Mhm,
Amazing humans. And I am, there's not a person on the planet that will ever be more important than them. Ever.
mhm.
Ever. And it's like, and then it's like, oh, well, what about if you get into a romantic relationship? No, because a person that I'm in a romantic relationship with, one, usually going to have kids themselves. Two, is going to understand because hopefully the person that I'm with is going to put their kids first as like, I'm going to put
Mhm.
my kids first. And that's, we're going to come together. Like, but that's my
Yeah.
expectations. That's who I am. But I mean, life is lifing. Again, life is lifing, and that's
Yeah.
okay. That is the best thing, though. Isn't that the best thing, Sean,
Being
though?
being able to accept that about each other and being
Yes.
able to go, "Yeah, I know you
Yeah.
got stuff going on, I got
Yeah.
stuff going on. We're going to." It's treating each other as a bye, Papa Rooks.
Bye, Papa Riggs. Tell
Treating each
Cheryl I love
other
her.
as an adult
Yeah.
with responsibilities,
Yeah.
as opposed to making the entire world about the other person.
Speaking
So
of
yeah.
my tiny humans.
Yeah, are your tiny humans visiting?
Yeah, they're always visiting.
Yeah.
um, so yeah, and it's one of those when you really do the work, the silence is no longer a bad thing. My sister's ex that way, so disgusting.
Mhm.
Nerdy Will. I have read so many horror stories on Reddit of someone getting into a romantic relationship and treating their kids horribly. I'm glad your kids will always be your priority.
Yeah.
Hey, my sister's ex is that way, so disgusting. Yeah, I mean,
It when there's such an intense need have your to be in a relationship with someone, like that's where the abandonment comes from. Is like, oh, I have to be in this relationship, and the abandonment, the fear of the abandonment of some significant other is stronger than your kids. How you feel about your kids, that's intense.
well, and that's why, because honestly, I watched it growing up.
Hmm.
I watched it growing up. I experienced it growing up. So it's one of those, and here's the thing, because I'm finding a balance. I'm not going to say because my
Hmm.
kids are kids. I am their parent.
Hmm.
I am their parent. But they're getting old enough now that I can have honest and open conversations with them.
Hmm.
But I also have to nurture my relationship, whatever relationship I get into. I'm still I I'm still doing work, so it's fine. Oh, hi, Paragon.
Hey,
So, I mean,
Paragon.
I am not in a rush. I am not in a hurry. I would rather do it right and healthy. Um,
Hmm.
but my kids also have to understand that I also have to nurture that relationship as well. It's gotta be it's a balance. It's a
Hmm.
balance.
Yes.
But that's why I have a therapist and I
Hmm.
see her every week and I
Yeah.
talk with her every week and I get healthy tools every week.
Yeah.
But silence is, I think the difference between silence before I started doing the work and silence after. Si- uh, silence before. all of my therapy and my trauma work, silence and was just this like, and just thinking about it right now is just like it's literally my heart is racing and just like I'm having this triggering moment, but it was it was scary. It was
Mhm,
beyond scary. It was so terrifying and painful because I sat in this fear, and not just fear of if I say something, something bad's gonna happen, because there was that, but it
mhm.
was sitting in the silence of the unknown because the silence couldn't be trusted
Yes, that absolutely.
because
Mhm.
you never know what was in the silence. Were they
Yes.
angry? Were they upset? Because especially when growing up and my parents and all that, like with my
Yeah.
mom and all this stuff, like if it was
Did I do
this
something wrong?
right? Am I having
Mhm.
to manage the silence? Are they silenced because I'm having to cheer them up or make them happy or do whatever?
It's my responsibility.
Right.
What do I need to do in order to fix this silence? Do I am I walking on
Right.
eggshells? I dealt with that one a lot, is
Mhm.
the constant need to feel like I'm walking on eggshells around the person because I don't wanna make it worse or make the silence. Yeah.
And was I being lied to in the silence that questioned your reality?
Mhm.
Because you never knew. And I think I just like, whew, the trauma from that
Mhm.
is deep because it's something as natural as being silent and quiet that gets weaponized, and it's scary. And then you start to work on yourself and you start getting those small incremental moments of the silence. And you start getting in those situations where to fight. Oh, thanks, Daniel. And thanks, Background. Where you start to make different choices. Where you stop fighting the silence. You stop defending yourself. You stop
Mhm.
saying, I need to prove I'm this good person. And you start accepting that in the silence, you know who you are. You know where you stand. You know the work that you've done. You know what kind of person you are. And it's okay to let other people say whatever they want about you. And it's okay that if that other person is going to weaponize the silence, it's okay to go, that's not acceptable. And if you're not willing to talk about it, if you're not willing to tell me the truth, if you're not willing to be transparent, then I'm walking away.
Mhm.
I don't have to fight you. I don't have to force you. I don't have to force somebody to believe me or believe anything else because it's not about that. Yeah.
It's choosing yourself. It's
Yeah.
choosing myself
Yeah.
over everything else. And it's not selfish to choose myself over unhealthy
Right.
relationships or unhealthy behaviors. That's the hard part, is the do I accept what they're doing cuz I don't want to lose that, because in doing that I'm letting go of myself.
Right.
I'm abandoning. And so it's being able to choose myself over that,
Right.
and doing it and repeatedly doing it over and over
Yeah.
again, repeatedly choosing myself. As someone with abandonment issues, that's hard.
Listen, I don't need you calling my ass out like that.
I was, but yeah,
Yeah.
that is hard. Changing that relationship with silence,
Yeah.
and seeing it as,
Go ahead.
yeah, not something. I was seeing it as not something to fix. 'Cause that
Yes,
that's the other thing. I have to fix the silence
that.
because
If
something's wrong.
right.
So how do I fix it? And it's you know how much energy I have expended trying to fix silence.
I don't know. I have no
It's a
idea what you're
lot.
talking about.
Yeah, exactly, right? No. Mhm.
No, yeah, well, yes, I do know, but also in that it's one of those things. Ooh, okay. I'm about to trigger Sean. Are you guys ready? You ready? Ready?
Okay, wait,
Ready?
hold
Ready?
on, hold on. Alright. Okay,
Get
now
your
I'm ready.
emotional support mug. Everyone ready? In staying silent, in sitting in the silence and letting everyone else talk and curate whatever narrative they want
Mhm.
about you, you accept and relinquish control of your narrative. Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, yeah. I'm gonna give Sean a second,
I'm
but
re are you saying I'm removing myself from the narrative? I'm sorry. I had to do that. I had to, it was
okay,
okay.
fair enough. My kids forced you to watch Hamilton
The
yesterday.
entire thing.
The
Hey, I
entire thing. You know what? That
exactly.
has become our new tradition. Is we usually watch 1776, which we did, and
Mhm.
then now we're adding a Hamilton in it. So
Yes.
it's
It's
fine.
yeah. Joking aside, that
Tell me you were
I'm
telling me without telling me.
recognizing that
Yeah.
that yes.
Okay.
Um, who because as a golden child, it's all about that's why I think golden child and narcissists often will yeah, because that's
Are
it's
you
all about
saying you're a
perfection.
narcissist, Sean?
No,
No.
no,
Okay. Anyway,
no.
go ahead.
But definitely a gold child. I think there's a lot of overlap between the two, honestly though. So
Interesting.
yeah,
Hmm.
because it's curating image, at least a particular type of narcissist. Because I think it's about curating image,
Uh-huh.
and so like if someone believes something that I deem is incorrect about me, or someone sees me in a negative light,
Mhm.
I feel the need to correct that. I feel the need to prove that that's not what I am. And so I want to fix that. I want to deal with so I can't just be silent and just go, well, they're they're not correct. That's not who I am, and they can believe whatever they want. I want to control and maintain that belief, that narrative, that story. And so I'm constantly trying to defend myself to correct that narrative.
Um, yeah, but I mean, wait, Pep, I didn't know you had an adventure with any of you trying to look at Um, yeah, that was the hardest part for me, I think, in all of this, and it's still the hard, it still is the most difficult for me, is because I have a lot of trauma, especially from high school. And for those of you who don't know, like some things happened to me in between the summer of eighth grade and freshman year. And then it bled into a really bad situation for me in regards to rumors and, all of these things in my freshman year of high school that it, 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 the golden child,
Thanks for that clarification.
it happened to me that it's hard because the urge is to, I am not this person.
Mhm.
I am not this person. And I fought for so many years and so many decades, and I spent so much of my time and energy trying to control the narrative because as the black sheep, like so many people, it was, and I was willing to one sit in the silence of just letting them talk and paint me as the bad person and accept that because I was always the problem. I was always the problem. And if I was the problem and the problem wasn't fixed, then that must have been my fault. So I was
Mhm.
willing to sit in that silence and not argue against it, even though in my head, the cognitive dissonance was just bashing against each other. And in the end, I had to learn to accept that I can't, and that's the big thing. I can't control other people. and they're gonna do what they're gonna do, and that's their life, and that's their
Mhm.
choices, and they're gonna believe whatever they wanna believe about me. And do I need to sit here and to defend myself, to prove myself? Does it look on the outside just because I am choosing not to fight, I am choosing not to step up, just because I'm choosing not to play into because a lot of times those people that are just, you know, are wanting you to step up and be reactive, and it's just like, it's not worth it.
Mhm.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not. It's okay. You know what? That's how you feel. That's what you think. And you know what? That's your story. And if I need to be the villain in your story so
Mhm.
that you can move forward or, you know, assuage your insecurities or, I'm no longer defending myself. I'm also not boasting about myself going, haha, like that's not it either. I'm just going to go, okay, that is your space. That is your space. And you know what? There is nothing that I need to contribute to that space. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. And it's so different
Mhm.
in that, you know?
Just letting go,
Yeah.
relinquishing the need to control
And they
the
try to use your
conversation.
silence as a weapon against
Oh, of
you.
course they do. Yeah, yeah, they absolutely. Yeah, well,
Yes.
if I was wrong, they would defend themselves. They would
If they weren't this person, they
if they
would be
weren't this
defending
person.
themselves.
Yeah, yeah. Mhm. And then they get the people around them to say the same thing, and you're like, "Do you guys not know me?" Or
No, and they don't.
yeah, no.
And they don't.
The people that believe that they really don't.
Right. The people, and that's the thing. That's the other thing is like, really? I
Mhm,
mean, am I a saint? Hell no. I
mhm,
mean, yes, okay. I could sit here and list a million things about what all of these things, but I could also list equally as many times that I have a good side. And I'm no
mm,
longer just accepting like, oh, whatever. But the silence is just I used to be afraid of it because I also had
mhm.
used to be afraid of the I don't know if anybody else in the community is like this, but I also used to be afraid of the silence because I was afraid of the thoughts in my head. I was
Ooh,
afraid
yes.
of being alone with the thoughts in my head and the emotions in my chest. And I was
Mm.
afraid. I'll keep talking so that you can work through this
I feel
triggering,
that
Sean.
one. I do.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm,
I didn't want to be single. I didn't want to be without like I used to and one of my friends, our Canyon, like he was a friend from college. Like I couldn't even be by myself to walk from the music building to the university
mhm,
center, which was literally a 20-yard walk by
mhm,
myself. I
mhm.
couldn't go to my mailbox by myself. I was the desire to not be alone with my thoughts was so frightening and so enormous and carried on for many, many, many years, not just in my 20s, but carried on for many, many years because I didn't want to face myself. I
Yeah.
didn't want to face those monsters in my head. I didn't want to face them because it was too scary. It was too much. It was too overwhelming. And that also is not fair to the other person because I wasn't enjoying or being present or mindful with somebody in the same context that of a healthy relationship of I'm enjoying being in the present with them. No, I was using that other person.
Yeah.
And Sean, you're one of them. Like
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Mhm.
just because I didn't want to sit with
Yeah.
myself.
It wasn't an
No,
honest relationship, an honest
no.
connection, for that with that person, yeah.
Yeah. And that's hard. That's hard. And now
Not being able to trust the silence, not being able to trust the thoughts in that silence, not being able to like, for me, it even goes so far as, like, take taking a shower and having something I don't wanna be alone with my thoughts. That that that's something I've dealt with. is like because oh my god, all the stuff that I've been kind of keeping at bay, it, all of a sudden this within in silence they come out. So again, it's all about that having that what that relationship with silence looks like.
Okay,
And
Sean, keep going. I got a potty.
oh, you gotta. Oh,
Yes.
okay, okay. Well, all right, and she's gone. Oh my god. But yeah, so that's something is I'm still dealing with is the because I feel like the silence the silence becomes overwhelming at times because I don't want to have the thoughts because if I have the thoughts I have to deal with the thoughts and then I start to deal with the uncomfortable emotions. That's a lot of times that's what has I've dealt with in trying to deal with in therapy is my emotions, and we talk about this a lot. The emotions that I have and uncomfortable emotions, and accepting that the uncomfortable emotions exist is within the silence. All of these things start to happen. My mind starts to go because of the silence. So it's reframing that and starting to trust myself and become more comfortable in silence to where a lot of times now I can sit in silence. I can exist in it. I don't have to constantly fill the silence. Whereas before I felt like I absolutely had to because if I didn't, something was going to go terribly wrong. And that silence with myself, that silence with other people, because anxious attachment, and it's just accepting that it is what it is, as opposed to my brain just because my brain will still start to spin on stuff, but it's going, "Oh, I know why I'm thinking this, I know why I'm feeling this, but just because that's what I'm feeling, just because that's what I'm thinking doesn't mean that that's what reality is."
Right.
So a lot of this is reframing what silence looks like and how I handle silence.
Right.
And yeah. Yay. Silence is a big deal.
It is a big deal. I don't think one, we've never talked about it before, so I thought this
Yeah.
was fun,
I don't think we're ever
fun topic.
taught.
No,
Yeah, fun topic, exactly.
I know, or no.
Because yeah, the other thing that just came to my mind is we've talked about this before, but in terms of whenever I got in trouble, I was told to go to my room and
Yes.
think
Oh my god, I
about
didn't
it.
even think about that.
And what was in our room? Silence.
Silence. No,
Because we
well,
couldn't turn on the TV, we couldn't put on we
oh, you had
it
a
was
TV in your room? Look at you being all fancy and shit.
I mean, uh, I mean the TV anyway. But yeah, it wasn't like I could just go to my room and play computer or whatever. No, it was. Yes, I had a computer in my room too. It was. We don't have to talk about that. Silence. Yes, I grew up more bougie than. Um,
Okay. Okay.
so, so yeah, I had to go to my room and think about it.
Mhm.
All I had were my thoughts. I had silence and nothing else. And so again, and I wasn't taught to deal with my emotions. I wasn't taught to deal with what I was my thoughts. And to it, so the silence, anytime there was silence, there was always something uncomfortable about it.
Yes.
Silence was never a friend. Silence was always the enemy. That.
Okay, here's one that we're silence. What? Because we weren't trained silence. We weren't
Mhm,
trained in silence, but we were trained like however your relationship to the silence or
mhm.
the not saying anything or any of the whatever that is. The did am I gone? I got out of my
You
YouTube.
came back. No, you're here. Well, you're here on Twitch. I can see.
Oh no, my YouTube's behind. Sorry.
Okay.
I was like, because I'm monitoring, so it's like, um, but it's all in about one because I know my kids don't have the same approach to silence, at least with me. Um, there's a lot of times that my kids and I will sit together just to be in my presence, like my like if I'm working at night
Mhm,
and like they'll just sit with me because they just want to be with me and they
mhm,
just want a body double or they just want that and that's a very comfortable silence that they feel safe, the safety in the silence. And I'm like,
mm,
there are
mhm,
times where I'm like, I don't feel the need to like constantly talk to them or anything, but they know that they they know that I'm there and they know that I love them and I know that they're
mhm,
there and that they love me. And it's that one of those, it feels really good. It feels really good on that. But we're also trained in staying silent is for me, because you're different, because you categorize and intellectualize your emotions.
Mhm.
I was from fucking birth till 40 fucking however, like I would say it's gotten better in the past couple of years, so I won't say 43, but
Mhm.
um that any type of emotion, any type of speaking up for yourself, whether it be sadness, whether it be betrayal, whether it be anger, whether it be any of those things, if you brought that up, if you said no, this is not, you were then, the silence means you were unreasonable.
Ooh.
The silence meant you were the emotional one. You were unstable. You were crazy because you're just like, you were emoting. You were you were saying how you felt. And I was made to feel like I was the crazy unstable one because I actually decided, no, I am not going to let you do XYZ.
Mhm.
And it was like, ugh,
So you weren't silent and you were punished for that.
right. Which goes to the safety silence.
Yeah.
But then we're going into the secure silence
Mhm.
in that I wasn't secure in the silence because if somebody was silent on me, that again, I'll go back to my solo stream last week. If somebody went silent on me, that means they were abandoning me.
Yeah.
And if I wasn't constantly like in constant communication or constant like I please talk to me, talk to me, talk to me, talk to me, talk to me,
Yep.
talk to me, talk to me.
That's me. Mhm.
And I didn't realize how draining that was on other people. I mean, I know that's not because it wasn't draining for me.
No,
It
yeah,
wasn't draining
because
for me.
you needed it to feel better, to
Yes.
feel refreshed, to feel connected to people. And
Yes.
so silent, yeah, but for everybody else that was having to respond to that.
I was siphoning off the
Yeah.
security out of the
Yes.
relationship or the other person.
Yep. Mhm. 'Cause it I could, because I did the same thing. I needed that. I couldn't
Yeah.
handle the silence because silence was bad.
Yeah.
Silence meant something was wrong.
Yeah.
"Why aren't you talking to me? Why aren't you talking to me?
Why aren't you talking to me?
Why aren't you talking to me?"
Why don't you love
Yeah,
me?
yeah. Or I would handle this I would I would interpret it as, something was wrong. But instead of then asking and responding to that in a healthy way, I would actually ma I would match the perceived energy or the perceived response. And so I would then push away myself and go quiet myself because, well, if they're not gonna talk to me, I'm not gonna talk to them. That's not healthy.
Yeah.
No.
All in all,
Um,
silence is very much we all have a different relationship. I think that is we all have a
mhm.
different relationship with silence because I'm an extroverted person. Now that I've gotten to the point where I can sit in silence and I don't have to talk constantly and all this stuff, but I am not a quiet person. I am not.
What?
I
No.
know. I am
No.
just talking, but there are times where, I don't want to. Now I don't feel the need to talk and all this stuff. But
Mhm.
there are people who that's their personality, and that's okay.
Mhm.
That's okay. But you just also it goes back to the person. If you're not the person who constantly needs to be talking and blah, 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 and it's overwhelming, that's when the silence does you need to go,
Ooh.
okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna need a minute. I'm gonna need a minute.
Yeah. Sometimes just taking that moment for silence. I have you ever gone to the bathroom because you just needed a moment of silence?
No.
Never.
I'm a parent. I don't know what you're talking about.
Uh,
Then I get the text, Mom, were you pooping?
Because that's the relationship that you have with your kids.
Right.
I never sent messages like that. I
No,
never.
my kids will sit outside of my because of the way the master is, the bathroom is
Yeah,
right, like, right you open the door, it's right there at the bed, and
yeah.
it's like, they'll sit on the bed, "Mom, what are you doing? Mom, are you pooping? Mom."
Your kids are amazing.
They are so good, they are great. Um, yeah, but it's okay. I think for me, I learned I think that's where I know we have to acknowledge our post-traumatic growth, where
Mm,
we aren't returning back to the same people we were. We are actually growing, healing forward and growing into different people and using the trauma as a foundation to build and move forward is that I learned about myself, which is why I'm saying there's no person like, if you can't accept the fact that life is lifing and that I have work and maybe it's busy season for me, or I have my kids this week and I'm not going to be able to be responsive. And no, I'm not going to go out with you when I have my kids because I have my kids and they're important. Like,
mhm.
I've stopped seeking and I learned the security in the silence. And that's okay. And that doesn't make me a horrible person. That doesn't make me cold. That doesn't make me distant. That doesn't make me avoidant. What it means
Mhm.
is I'm secure in setting that boundary and going, okay. Like, and I do that with my friends. I do that with everybody. Hey, you okay? I hadn't heard from you in a couple days. Yeah, I just had the kids this week and they just have a lot going on. And
Mhm.
work is swamped and I have to do this thing. And yeah, it's fine. Okay, just checking on you. Okay, cool, cool, cool.
Mhm.
And I'll resurface when, when it's not my time with
What
them and, or busy season doesn't exist
yeah.
or, um,
It's nice when you have that back and forth, that interaction or dynamic,
right.
as opposed to because I think we've all had so many where that was not the case,
Mhm.
where it was not met like that, and so it's nice to have that respect, and that dynamic in the relationship where you go, "Oh, yeah, you're busy because you're busy, not because I did something wrong or you hate me," or
I think that was a quick thing for me to do as burnout.
Mhm,
Burnout. Because I wanted to fill the silence. I didn't want people to think I was ghosting them. I didn't want people to think so. I was trying to be everything and be present. I think it's the other thing to be present for everyone at all times.
that's a
And
lot.
also, when I was trying to counteract my trauma by instead of saying, "Hey, I need a minute,"
Mhm,
you know what? I need a minute. I need some time to process this conflict. I need some time to process this whatever. We'll come back to it. But I was so traumatized by the fact that silence was weaponized that I was like, no, we're dealing with this right now. We're dealing with it right now and we're going to talk about it right now. And even if the
yes.
other person needed a minute or whatever, no, we're going to talk about it right now. We're going to get and keep talking. And the
Keep
silent,
talking
yes.
until yes.
And
Oh,
that's
that
not
was
healthy
yeah.
either. Go ahead.
You know, that's yeah, that's like that's killer for avoidant attachment. That's killer for and like so for me, I get that fawn in conflict. Like my brain just shuts down. I can't. There's nothing happening because
Mhm.
again, that was safety for me.
Yeah.
And so like to have someone like when we rebooted and we had these conflicts, there was a lot of that like a lot of the early conflicts were expressing how you felt and me just sitting there going like wide-eyed because neither of us were handling it
I
well.
don't know what you're talking about. Blah, 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 blah.
Somebody just noped out. No. So
Listen to
that
the
was a lot of
silence.
our early the sound of silence. That was a lot of the early conflict when we were booted. Is because we weren't neither of us dealt with that in the way we should. And so uh because I need time in conflict. I need time to deal with and process because I do
Mhm,
not process. My brain just slows to a crawl.
mhm.
And so I need to speak up, but
Yeah,
I've got to learn to deal with it and not just completely shut down. And to when I need a moment to speak up and go to advocate for myself. That's kind of like
yeah.
that's my takeaway for this thing is my silence is often. to deal the silence that I need to deal with is the I need to advocate for myself. I need to
Mhm,
speak up for myself. Whether that
mhm,
is I'm going to need a minute or this is important to me or I don't agree with this. Cuz that's one time where that's one thing that's really difficult I think in friends group is sometimes when someone says something and you're like I don't agree with that, but do I
mhm.
speak up or not? Especially if something is goes against what we believe and we're like
Right,
do I say something
right.
so for me I it's really important for me to speak up to advocate for myself
Yeah.
because that's what I struggle with and that's advocate for my wants my needs my beliefs my thoughts my feelings. That's hard. That's probably one of the hardest things that I do. Really, it really is.
Well,
um
we may be
so
recovering people
yeah,
pleasers, so it's
exactly.
fine. Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, but okay, so here's the thing in all of this is that for me, I had to learn to have a healthy relationships with the silence and the silence of not defending myself, the silence of not, allowing people to have their own opinions about me, whether it's right or wrong, and accepting that I know who I am. And you know what? They're allowed their opinion of me, whatever that is,
Hmm.
and however they came across that opinion or whatever that, and being secure in that because I know who I am. I know the work that I've done, and I know what is a healthy silence versus because I have done the work. I am
Hmm.
doing the work, not even just done, but I am doing the work. It is the active, constant choice of going, I don't need to control any situation. I can't control anybody except myself, how I react to things. And then
Hmm.
I'm going to do what is right according to me and according to according to my kids or whatever. And that silence isn't a weapon because also I was afraid of sitting in the silence because I was afraid that I was then weaponizing the silence.
Oh, yes, swinging the pendulum the other
Yes.
direction when you're like, "Oh, am I the problem? Am I
Am
using
I
this
the
wrong?
narcissist?
Am I the narcissist?"
The
Yeah.
narcissist ain't gonna ask if you're the narcissist.
No.
No, and I
Yeah. Am I being silent
right.
because that's what I'm like because I will fully admit I have weaponized silence
Yeah.
before. I've weaponized silence against you before.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's like, am I being silent because I'm weaponizing because I'm being passive aggressive, or am I just being silent because I need to be silent for a moment, or because I'm just here?
Right.
Discerning which is
Right.
I think that's the hardest part of healing is when the outward looks the same, figuring out but figuring out which one it is and go, am I being healthy? Am I being unhealthy? That's exhausting.
Yes.
That's pretty because it's like I'm constantly questioning everything.
Yes,
Is this
because the
healthy? Am I being healthy?
outside looks the
Looks the same.
motherfucking same.
Yeah.
When you choose not to engage, when you
Yeah.
choose to, again, secure, when you are secure in
Hmm.
yourself, when you choose to, hey, you know what? This fight isn't worth it because am I, like you said, what is the outcome? Am I
Hmm.
fighting because I am standing up for myself and asserting my wants and needs, or am I fighting because I just want to be right? Am I
Yes.
fighting because I don't want yeah,
I
or
want I
doesn't
want
matter?
them to hear me. I want to be heard. I want them to.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yep.
But oh, oop, I hit my shoulder. I'm like, "Is it wrong?" But here is what we're not saying. We are not saying that stay silent at all times.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so here's the thing is that like we said, the diagnostic question. So
Hmm.
what's the meaning? What is the end result? Am I if I wanting to defend myself because it is something that needs to be said? Or am I wanting to defend myself? Is there an underlying am I wanting to ease my trauma? And
Hmm.
that's a big question I ask myself. Am I wanting to say something because what I am going to say and what I'm going to defend myself against is right and true and I am willing to stand up for that? Or is me staying silent going to be the best course of action because it's not there's no route that is going to, 1, make them believe or change their mind or anything else,
Hmm.
or is it just gonna make the situation worse? Am I just going to just keep handing them ammunition? Because that happens a lot, especially if you are dealing with, like, high conflict people and narcissists and just people who still haven't done the work and traumatized, and they are still in their own fear and their own headspace, and that's whatever. And it's like, okay, because me being the type of person I am, I hold a lot of space for a lot of people who are still healing, and I hold a lot of space and a lot and willingly hold space for people who are traumatized and need somebody to listen to them. But at
Mm,
the same time, when especially avoidant people, or especially who people who have who their trauma is to shut down, like, okay, do I speak up because they need to hear me, they need to hear an opposing voice, or is this just a space where this is their space and they just need me to let it go? And that's hard because you care about that person. You care
mhm,
about that person, and you're like, their silence is very difficult for you, not because it's difficult because you think it's a weapon, but their silence is because you know that they're struggling. You know that they're hurting, and you know you want to
mm,
reach out and you want to reach through the silence and the darkness, and you want to go, I'm here. I've got you. Let me tell you all the reasons I think you're wonderful and beautiful and why I'm glad you're in my life and all these things. But that can also have an opposite effect. And that's when
yes.
sometimes you need to exercise in I'm just going to keep the silence because this is what they need. This is the space that they need, even if it's uncomfortable for me.
Yeah. Or this is the space where they're at.
Mhm.
This is the this you can't force someone to heal, you can't force someone to confront, you can't force someone so like cuz I've been there. I've been like this is where I'm at. It's not I
Yeah.
know it's not a necessarily a good place, but this is where I'm at and this is and so having feeling like someone's forcing me to unless you're my therapist, someone is forcing me
I
to
mean, fair. I mean,
to
we get paid
confront, to
we're
deal
paying
with.
them so that we can talk, but I mean, they
Yeah.
would let us sit in silence if we
They
needed
would
to.
mhm.
Mine would.
Um, I don't know if mine would. Um, but yeah, but it allowing that silence to be there and knowing and especially someone that wants to fix something,
Mm.
yeah, knowing where they're at and knowing what
Listen,
I
I don't need you
and
calling my ass out
knowing
right now.
what I don't know what you're
Uh-huh.
talking about. And knowing what and knowing in quotation marks what they need or what
Mhm.
would help them
Mhm.
and trying to not force that upon them, but you want to fix it. And like, I know how to fix you,
But do you?
but no, knowing
Oh.
that's why I've said it because I know it'll fix you. If you just do this thing, it'll fix it. If you just yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like, mm,
But see, that's also where I came in is like, or like our relationship got really unhealthy is because you said, if you do this, yeah, I can help fix you. And for me,
yeah,
I was in such an anxious
yes,
attachment, such fear of abandonment that I'm like willing to go, okay, well, you must be right. Because again, I was the emotional one. So I was in an emotional space, but you weren't emotional.
mm, no,
You compartmentalized, you
yes,
intellectualized. So
yes,
it was fine because you obviously, I'm in this highly emotional state and you're not. So it's
hmm
like, okay, well, I'll listen to you, even though I don't think that that's right because I don't feel that's right for me, but I'm too emotional. Maybe I can't see that. So I'm just going to keep my mouth shut and just do what you say because you seem put together and I'm willing to let you
Oh,
fix me and my problems.
I'm putting a plea. No, I'm not. Yeah,
Now.
no, yeah. Now you realize that, huh? And see, me as the white knight, it's just like, oh, if you just fix this, if I just convince you to fix this or change this or do this different, like I know what's best for you, and I just need you to fix it. I just need you to do this thing. And
Oh no, sorry, my eye twitched.
yeah, yeah. Did it twitch or did they roll?
No, it twitched. It twitched. It was not an eye roll.
I mean, I would have completely understood if it was.
And I know it's very difficult, especially considering that for our community and people watching,
Mm.
watching our videos and stuff like that. It's like, well, you talk all the time. Well, yes, because we're on here and we're talking. That's
Us being here in silence is not our.
it's
That's not what
not
we
that's not
do.
a good. And you guys
There are some
almost.
people that do that. That's not us.
Mm-mm.
No,
I tried a couple streams like that where I didn't talk about it, and it was just very
it's
weird.
weird. Yeah,
Um,
no.
but we're not saying don't. I think in the end, we're not saying don't say anything.
Mhm.
And, we're saying no mime casting.
I mean, we could build a wall.
Nip, 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 nip. Why you gotta bring up my trauma like that?
Oh yeah,
Why you gotta
oh
bring
the
up my
mind,
trauma?
the
Why do you gotta
mind.
bring up my trauma
Oh
like that?
yeah, wow, that was wrong. That was so
Why
bad.
do you gotta bring up my trauma like that?
Ooh,
Oh,
yep, just cutting deep.
that did got it. I mean,
We'll
but
talk for anyone that doesn't know. We'll talk about that one later.
this is a whole different story. But I think silence. There was that one time.
Where everyone didn't. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was the
that,
thing. It was a whole thing.
um it okay, I'm gonna do a stream of consciousness. I don't know if this is a rant, but it's a stream of consciousness. So here, whatever. I think in most of my life, I think most of my life that I have had this unhealthy relationship with silence, whether it be because I didn't say anything because I was afraid, whether that fear was I was afraid of losing the person that I love. I was afraid of getting hurt. I was afraid of getting close. I was afraid of something. I stayed silent. Also, that fear, my relationship with silence was the fear that I was doing something wrong. That it was a weapon. Silence was a weapon. It wasn't good. Also, like I said before, the silence was I was afraid to be alone in my own thoughts and feelings because being alone in my own thoughts and feelings and being alone with myself meant I would have to then on have a sit within the discomfort of my trauma, sit in the discomfort of my feelings, what the uncomfortable feelings, sit in the discomfort and the realities of the thoughts that I was having. And at the time, I didn't have the tools to do that, and that's okay.
Mhm.
I think that if I look back on that time in my life or any of those times in life where I remained silent because I was afraid and I was like I should have said something because I easily went to that we do the whole thing where we do the pendulum it's like I
Mhm.
should have known better. I should have stood
Yep.
my life would have been different had I done XYZ, had I stood my ground, had I broken the silence, had I said something. um but I was also, for those of you who don't know, in college, I was engaged to somebody who made it, it was reactive abuse,
Mhm.
who made it to the point to where I stayed silent, stayed silent, stayed silent, stayed silent. And so much of the manipulation, abuse, both physical and mental and emotional, got to the point where I stayed silent so long that I would then have a reaction, and they would go, see, look at that, see, look at that, she's crazy, she's unstable, she's all
Mhm.
this stuff. Family too, like I had family that did that as well, and so I learned to stay silent, and so once I got to the point, it was like no one's going to believe me anyway.
Yeah.
No one's going to believe me anyway. And so it's very isolating. And the silence was not only afraid, it was something that I was afraid of, but it was very isolating. It was this dark pit and the silences. So I spent a lot of time then now masking and projecting and trying to be like, I'm going to pretend to be happy when I'm sad. And I'm going to keep talking because I can't sit in the silence. But with all of the work that I've done in the past 3 years, all of the work that I've learned to accept that silence is not my enemy, just like anger is not my enemy, just like sadness and grief is not my enemy, that the unpleasant, uncomfortable emotions that every person naturally experience isn't a bad thing. It is only a bad thing when it is weaponized. It's only a bad thing by how you handle it. And now with all of the work that I've done, and I do it daily, I do it weekly. I see my therapist every week. I have very an amazing support system that is healthy, and I'm able and have the tools to understand where I'm sitting. And I understand I am no longer reactive, that I am okay with the silence, that okay, that not every accusation, not every um bad thing said about me, not every situation that I'm in requires me to have a reaction. That is the unhealthy. Reactive behavior is what is makes silence unhealthy. When you respond is understanding, okay, I am responding in this situation. You are choosing to break the silence. It is a choice that no, this is a situation that I do need to respond to. And the silent I'm not afraid of sitting in the silence anymore. I am not afraid of the space between me and somebody else anymore. I am not afraid of the feelings that I have. I understand that having an emotion and being able to voice that and stand up for myself is not it is not insecurity. That is not me, and when I is not me being crazy. That is me going, okay, this is a time where the silence doesn't serve me. The silence is actually is hurting me. So I have every right to say how I am feeling when I am
Mhm.
thinking the thoughts going through my head. I don't have to stay silent because it makes you uncomfortable. That does not make me emotional. That does not make me say that unstable. That does not make me crazy. That doesn't make me needy either. And it also doesn't make me distance when I go, "Listen, life is lifing right now, and that's
Yeah.
okay." And I am secure enough to go, "I like you, I care about you, I think you're a great person, but life is lifing right now, and that's okay."
Mhm.
And it is I think one of the biggest points that I am actively working on, that I am most when we're talking about post traumatic growth, again, it is your point of view, right? Like, and we said that was there's 5 domains, and and the second domain is point of view. So, like, you could be looking at the same object, just like this is what it is, sort of to put in perspective is point of view. And it's like, so you're looking at the same thing, but because of the post traumatic growth, you're looking at it from a different point of view. And so all of a sudden, whereas and I was standing here thinking the silence was scary and
Mhm.
awful and dark and lonely, now I am looking at it from a different point of view, going, silence is okay. It's not scary. Silence is healthy. Space is healthy, and that I don't constantly have to control the narrative, that I don't have to constantly prove who I am, because because here for me personally, where I stand, that's where my integrity stands.
Mm.
Who I am as a person, who I am is not standing in the I'm going to stand here and give you the list of reasons I'm a good person, that I'm going to stand here and defend myself against all the naysayers, to defend myself against all these things, to tout my resume, to tout how I'm a good person, to tout all of the things that have healed me and that I've done to heal myself. That's not integrity. And I have said this last week, and or in a couple weeks, the integrity is who you are without saying a fucking word. And that I would rather have that than have a million people on the internet and have a million people in my life, or million people that I've never met. You can think whatever you want about me, because I know who I am. And the people who love me and care about me and who know who I am, I don't have to defend myself to those people, because those people know who I am. And they know and can accept that I am not crazy, bitter, whatever, all of these things, because that's where the my integrity sits. That's where integrity sits, is in the silence. I don't have to fight. Will I fight if my integrity is in question? Will I fight for what is right? Absolutely. Will I stay silent because I'm afraid of you? No. But I don't have to spend every day, all day, defending who I am to people who are not going to listen anymore. And I don't care if you are my partner, my best friend, my family member. I don't have to defend myself, because it's not going to matter anyway. I will stand up for what is right. I will just keep doing what I'm doing, because you know what? That's what my therapist tells me. She goes, you're just doing what you're doing, and you're doing the right thing." And I often question, and I've had this discussion with her, several times in the past few months. I feel like I need to defend myself. I feel like, what am I doing? I feel like I need people to know. I'm staying silent. Why like I feel like I am letting them walk all over me. She's like, "You're not. You're walking forward. You're moving forward, and the difference being is you're recognizing what is worth your energy and what is not. You are recognizing and able to recognize who's gonna believe you and who's not. And for me, that's a big thing. And it's still uncomfortable, if I'm being 100% honest. Do I feel the warm and fuzzies? Yeah, because I'm recognizing in myself that I am growing and I am healthy and I am building a relationship and a security within myself that I never had before in the silence, in the not feeling I need to defend myself, knowing that the choices that I'm making and the decisions that I'm making and the times when I do speak up and I do defend myself are not a reactive place, but they are from a place that I have sat with. I have sat in silence with, I have meditated on, I have been mindful of, and I have decided, no, this is a situation that requires me to stand up and say something. And I know the difference between that situation and the ones of, I just need to defend myself because I don't want somebody to think something of me. And you know what? I'm okay with it. I am okay with being the villain in somebody's story. I'm okay with that because I can't control how other people feel. And I don't want to control how other people feel. I don't want to control how my kids feel towards me. Maybe one day my kids are going to get angry at me. Maybe my kids one day are going to feel like, I don't listen to them. Maybe my kids are going, maybe there's going to be something that I'm going to do that's going to hurt them and betray them. Okay. Okay. I can't control that. Just because I'm their parent doesn't mean I can control that. There are people in my life who I love and care about, and I can't control what they think, but I know who I am and I know what is right for me. And I know that the people who want to know me as a person and get to know me as a person, look, my social medias are everywhere. Fucking message me. I don't care. I don't care. And I think that that's the other thing is like so many people, um, because I have nice little subtitles and all this shit. Is like people, so many things is you're intimidating, you're all these things. I'm like, no, I'm not. And that's okay. They're gonna think what they are. But I'm not
Mhm.
gonna fix my face. I'm not gonna fix my face to make you feel better. I'm gonna have subtitles, and I'm gonna have subtitles because they're gonna think, but does that mean I'm gonna say anything? No, but I mean, however you interpret the subtitles is on you. However you interpret what I say is on you. That's on you. But I know me. I know me. I know that I've grown. I am no longer in need of constantly somebody being in my space for me to feel complete, for me to feel secure, for me to know what is right. I don't need somebody. Do I want that? Do I still have the urge to defend myself because I'm a black sheep? Do I still have that urge to defend myself because I have that trauma? Yes, I do. Do I still have the urge to want to constantly text and talk to somebody every day because I like them and I have a crush on them and I think, they're really cute and I don't want them out of my life. But that's not who I am. That's not the relationships I want. That's not the friendships I want. And that's okay. Again, I am living and understanding my values as a person now in my healing journey, and that is honesty, integrity, respect, and love. And I need to do and practice those things towards myself as well as other people. And I know that thing. And the integrity and who you are as a person lives in the not saying anything. It's in the silence. And I'm okay with that. And I've got nothing to hide. I've got nothing to hide. I really don't. I really don't. I have nothing to hide. And if you want to know something, ask me and I will tell you the truth. If you don't, that's fine too. And there I am. And there's that
There
rant.
you
I
are.
guess my rant at the end of the at the end of the stream. Yay, it's fine.
That was I am impressed, and I'm proud of your growth. That shows a lot. That's a
Thanks.
difficult journey, but
It is.
I am proud of you for that.
Thanks.
Thank you for sharing it.
What about you, Sean? I took up the last of that, and I feel bad. I'm sorry.
No, that was you pretty much nailed like all the stuff, all of the points like in your in one go. So no. What about me? That I haven't already said. I don't I'm still working on my relationship with silence and what that means, and speaking up when I need to speak up.
Mhm,
That is the most difficult thing for me is communicating when I need to communicate. When it is something that I need to say, like what I want, what I need, how I feel. Because my life has a lot of my life has been spent with that not being safe, with
mhm,
me having to defend myself or prove why I need what I need, why I want what I want. And so for me, it's a lot about trying, a lot about advocating for myself and going, I'm allowed to feel a certain way. I'm allowed to need things. I'm allowed to want things. I'm allowed to ask for things. And so speaking up and actually and communicating, and that's where I don't need to stay silent, and I need to advocate for myself. Um, and it's difficult, but that's the biggest thing for me that I'm working on, trying to do that. So
you are doing a good job, though.
I appreciate that.
Even though sometimes we're like, "Sean, what do you want?"
I don't know. What do you want? That's yeah. That is
The big thing
speak.
also is also, "Sean, are you okay?"
Yeah, I'm fine. Oh, your kids called me out on it the other day.
I know, they're so great.
We were at the grocery
Emotionally
store.
intelligent kids. My
They are
kids are
they are.
fucking honestly, they are more mentally and emotionally mature at their age than I think there are some adults.
I
You
would agree with that.
cannot BS
Yeah.
them,
No.
and I'm
We
very
were
proud of them for that.
we're at the grocery store, and we're in the chip aisle, and we're picking out chips for dinner. And Chloe picked out sorry, your girls picked out one picked out with chips, one picked out another bag of chips, and then they're like, "Hey, what chips do you want?" Talking to me, and I went, "Oh, well, I mean, I'm fine. I'm fine with what you got." And your oldest was like, "Are you okay with what we got? Because you honestly are perfectly fine eating those chips, or are you saying that because you're just trying to be agreeable?" And yeah, called me out. Now
That right there, that is proof. That is proof.
yeah,
That is proof that my kids are doing
yeah,
the work and that I
yeah,
have done the work to raise them to understand and recognize
yeah,
healthy and unhealthy behavior.
yeah,
Boom.
yeah. And your youngest did the same thing, and she because they were both like, "Are you?" And I was like, honestly, I am the chips that you guys picked out. I am perfectly fine. Like I don't necessarily want any other
From the
chips.
mouth of babes. You were right,
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
You were
And so
right.
your oldest was finally like, you know what? Okay, I think this is one of those moments where you are actually okay with that, and that you don't necessarily want something. So she was like, okay, I think we're good. I was like, dang, these hatchlings are pretty amazing.
My hatchlings are amazing.
They're pretty amazing.
They will
So
spot unhealthy toxic behavior from a mile away,
yeah,
even if it's on me. Like they
yeah,
will call, like, and I'm like, I'll be like, especially when I'm like,
yeah,
they're like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "No, I'm fine, honey." Doing the whole parent thing. They're
yeah,
like,
yeah. Hmm. They know better.
they do,
They
and I
do.
get the look.
Yeah.
And then here's what they'll do. They'll be like, "Jay, mom's lying again."
That's funny. Your hatchlings are the best.
They are. They're super
So
smart, and
there.
they are really smart. And,
Mhm.
I'm very grateful for the support that they have. They both have mental health, they both have therapists,
Mhm.
and, they that are very supportive, and, you know, they're not gon th they
Mhm.
know, and I'm very appreciative of that. They're not maybe it's trauma. Maybe they're born with it, maybe it's trauma, I don't know, like
It's a weird, really weird Maybelline
I
commercial.
know it is, but they're very amazing,
They are.
and yeah, yes. Yeah,
You should be proud of them.
I am.
You've raised some fantastic
I am very proud
humans.
of them.
So
That's why I'm like, who needs
they
a
got it.
romantic relationship when I got that? You know? They'll go out to the movies with me and we'll have a good time and we'll laugh. We'll
Hmm.
go out to dinner. I'll come home and it'll be fine. Like, I don't
There you
know.
go. Exactly.
I'm not using no, okay, let me be very clear. I'm not using them as, like, a replacement for anything is I'm just saying that I absolutely enjoy their company. I do. I enjoy
Yes.
spending time with them. I enjoy the laughs we have. I enjoy the relationship of honesty and trust and safety that, they have with me and that I can have with them, and that is something that I didn't have with my mom and that I am very,
Yes.
very grateful for all the time. I
Hmm.
am grateful for the fact of the time that I get with them, and, yeah, they are amazing humans.
They are.
And yesterday was, for those of you across the pond who watch from different, yesterday was
Hmm.
our the 250th
250th.
birthday
Yes.
of America.
Because America.
We've seen the good times and the bad times and the
We're
now
living in it.
times.
The
Now we're
now
gonna call it the
time.
now times.
Yeah, we
But
are.
yesterday, actually the past 2 days, Sean has never been into a fireworks store.
That's correct.
And
Yesterday was my
two,
first time. Uh-huh.
yesterday was the first time Sean has ever lit fireworks and shot off fireworks.
I did. I absolutely did. Yep.
Yes.
I got my hands. I got my hands onto some fireworks. I got my hand. I got fireworks shoved into my hands,
Yes.
and I got. You're gonna like this.
What?
Yes, I have never. Yeah, I've never been.
Now he got addicted too. He was like, "Ooh, what else do you
Ooh,
have?"
yeah. Where's my firework? Yeah. So yeah, never lit
Yeah.
any fireworks. No Roman candles. Nothing.
It was so
Yeah,
great.
yeah, and I didn't shoot myself with a Roman candle, so that was exciting.
Yeah, we none of nobody got
None of
hurt.
us did.
None
None
of
of
us
us. I
did.
mean, there was. That's because we didn't buy the Gatling. That's why nobody got hurt.
Still have it. We do have all our fingers.
Do
We
all the
do.
fingers, all the toes.
We had the
Yep.
oh my god, okay, guys, okay, well, the final end. I know we're running over
Yeah.
time. I know we're running over, but guys, there is this firework that is called the Pink Princess, or like Princess Warrior Sword. Okay, it's pink.
Yes.
First off, the handle's questionable, but we're not gonna go there.
Yes,
But
it
like,
is.
it's like okay, it is like a fountain and a Roman candle all in the same thing, and it's like shaped like a
That you
sword
hold in your
that you
hands.
hold.
That was a pretty amazing
It
firework.
is
That
the most
was one of my
amazing
favorites.
thing, like, and of course, like, the only ones that shot off like a Roman candle were mine and Nora's, but, like,
Yeah.
everybody else is just sort of like, "Sheesh," and
Yeah,
fizzled
it
out.
sparkles. It sparkles like, or it goes off like a
Yes.
fountain in your
Yes.
hands. It
Pics already
sparkles.
don't exist. I do have pics. I'll put them in the
and then
Discord.
and then
Send 'em
it
to
starts to die, and then all of a sudden it's like Roman candle.
it's like it starts to die, and then it's just one last really
Poof.
big sparkle, and then poof, and you're just like, "What?"
I'm surprised the neighbor's yard didn't burn up.
I'm surprised
'Cause
my yard didn't burn
that's
up. What are you talking
also
about?
true.
Do you
Oh, it
say,
was
or was
great.
it too it was too dangerous. It was too dangerous, so we
Yeah,
had to be very, like, careful with that, but
yeah.
yeah, it was a lot of fun,
No
and
sword
there's
fighting.
so much food.
Oh my
I
god,
s
there's so
The
much
girls and I
food.
spent all day cooking.
Yes. Oh, so
I
wonderful.
literally have no taco queso like, I have, like, very little,
We
and I
yeah.
have, like, it was one of those big, like,
She made a
cast
lot.
iron pots, like, very
Yeah.
deep
Mhm.
cast
Deep and
iron
wide.
pots,
Deep and
deep and
wide.
wide, but it was a
Mhm.
huge pot of taco queso, literally gone.
We were working on that it's a good thing you made it early because we worked on that the entire day.
Everyone. It was like everyone had, like, multiple
Mhm.
bowls of it, so
You're a fantastic cook, so there you go.
thanks.
And your Hatson's cooked too.
They did. They did. So
So
it was a
lots of
good time.
food.
It
Lots of
was a
food.
good time. So, all right. Well,
Shall we do the week?
I yes, you do the week.
Let's do the week. All right. So today is Sunday, which means tonight we have some Let's Build with Pepe at 5:30 Central Time on my channel, on the Dorian Summer channel. We'll see if we can put that here in the chat. Put all of our stuff. There we go, right there. So Dorian Summer channel, that is my channel. So at 5:30 Central, I'll do some Let's Build. We're going to continue building the Tudor house, the Tudor corner. And then on Monday, I believe Bear is going to pick up his D&D for D. He's had some stuff going on, so hopefully he will be back on Monday at 10:30 Central on the Great Big Bear 205 channel. So if you've been interested in D&D, how it works, how to play it,
Yeah.
or if you know everything about it and just want to have some interesting conversation with Bear, who has opinions about stuff, check out his channel at 10:30
Aw,
Eastern
we
or
love you,
10:30
Nev.
Central. Hey, thanks, Steph. So that is Monday. Then on Tuesday, we have Three Bards and a Dragon. It is our RPG podcast, so we roll a d20 and let it ruin our lives. That is so much fun. We've been using our new format, which has yielded some very fun
Except
results.
the last stream, Bear's birthday stream.
Oh, oh my God, Bear's birthday stream. Yes, last week we had Bear's birthday stream. It was a little and he decided that
I can appreciate the Rickroll.
Yes, there was a Rook roll at the end, and I was he had me call a phone number, like actually call a phone number on the stream, and it was a Rick roll.
Yes.
So because Bear, yeah.
It's Bear.
First we had Pink Pony Club, and then all right. So yeah. So Tuesday at 7:30 Central on the Team_AOA channel. That is our RPG podcast. And then that brings us back to Sunday, where we have more waking up at 12 o'clock Central right here on the Nerd Mom Ace channel. And so I put this in the chat earlier. I'll put it in again. If you want to get a hold of us in between streams, join us on our Discord. There is a link for it. So if you just want to chat, want to hang out, if you want to see pictures of Lego builds, I've got some pictures up there on in the channel. Come hang out with us. Just chat if you just want to for any reason. And then the last thing I'm going to do,
or not, because we're talking about silence. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly. You could just be silent. You could just put /silence.
Sound of silence. Yeah.
The sound of silence. And the last thing I'm going to do, I'm going to put this out here. See if I can do it. Right there.
Oh no.
Is it going to work?
It works. Don't go there. It's fine.
There it is. Yep. I totally put it in there.
I haven't updated it forever.
It apparently did it twice. All right. If you are interested in some merch, even it hasn't been updated recently, but it's still out there. If you want interested in some merch, go check out nerdmomaceboutique.com. She has some very fantastic. I love your designs. You have some really good designs. I told you I was going to do it. So if you're interested in merch, go check out her website and pick up a coffee mug, maybe a hoodie or a t-shirt or some leggings.
Yeah.
All right. So there we go. That's where we're at.
Yay!
All right. So I'll see you guys tonight for some Let's Build with Pep Pep.
Boop, boop.
Woohoo.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
Really just high five over me right
No,
now.
we didn't.
Okay, we're live. Hello.
Last week,
You don't even do that well from the front seat.
okay.
And the bear is coming with the carpet spoon.
That's a straight up PBR for the table.
Yeah.